Okay, everybody. Trump update. Oh boy, obviously this has been one of the greatest things to happen to any progressive-leaning American, or honestly any progressive-leaning human. You don't even have to be American to be invested in enjoying this. Has been the continued legal trouble faced by Donald J. Trump, the former president of our lovely United States. You see, he did a lot of really bad stuff. And the funny thing is, before Donald Trump was elected, before he was actually in office, back when the concept of a Donald Trump presidency was an idea being argued for, sort of as a prospect that maybe we could consider online, a huge argument made by, I wouldn't necessarily say even Trump supporters, but people more amenable to Trump back then were, how bad can he actually be? It was very common to see people say, come on, the president doesn't have that much power. It's not like there's going to be millions of people dying. It's not like he's going to, conquer the government and overthrow it and become a dictator. Like, even people who weren't in favor of Trump said that even if he wins, it wouldn't be that bad. And then he did win. And the response from a lot of progressive people, their statement they made in response to Trump winning the 2016 election, was to say, it's not going to be that bad. So many people said it won't be that bad. How bad could Trump as president really be? And then he became president. And I could waste time listing all the numerous, smaller controversies. The one that he started off with was the fact that there was blatant evidence that he had worked alongside his election campaign to try and fuck over the Democrats in the election and improve his chances of winning with the help of the election or the Russian government. There were literal, people went to prison for this. The whole Russia hoax, as he calls it, wasn't a hoax. The Russia thing was real. His campaign colluded with Russia to get him into office and to spread dirt about the Democrats around. And people on his campaign team went to prison for it. They were his fall guys that acted as buffers between him and the law. That he's like a mafia boss. He operates much on that same sort of archetype where he's got fall guys that are specifically in place, meant to be the people who take the fall if he gets caught, right? Fall guy. It's what fall guy meant before the game, okay? Anyway, there was obviously that, and Donald Trump essentially got away with it, not exactly scot-free, but scot-free looking enough that he's able to say that he did, right? And so he's able to write off the Russia collusion thing as a hoax, right? And so from there, he's now trying to claim his current legal trouble or hoaxes, but nobody's buying it, and certainly no legal institutions are buying it. The prosecutor is certainly not buying it. The jury is not buying it either, by the looks of things. Donald Trump is currently, I think, under 6 indictments now? Chat, update me, because it's there's literally it's constant updates. It's constant new shit. 4 indictments. It's not 6, it's 4? Okay, 4. All right, 4 indictments. I believe there's a good chart that breaks it down, actually. Donald Trump indictments. There's a really good visual chart that I showed on stream a week or so ago that did a really good job of breaking down the different indictments he has and how much trouble he's in. Anyway, he's facing a legal battle for with Jean E. Carroll, I believe her name is, a legal battle for in Georgia, a legal battle in New York, and I think there's the Mar-a-Lago, Florida, because there's the documents thing, the January 6th thing, God, it's so much, it's hard to list. Can I get there was a chart. Oh, here we go. I found it. Yep, here we go. All right, this breaks down how much trouble Trump is in now. The first thing is his New York trouble, okay? I believe this is New York shit. I believe these are federal charges. Or no, these are him getting sued in New York, because he's currently suing and getting sued by E. Jean Carroll in New York. He's getting sued by police officers in New York. Peter Strzok, through the DOJ, is suing him. And then you've got federal charges, I believe. Or no, this is the DOJ investigation for, I believe this is Jan 6th. Then you've got the Mar-a-Lago court documents investigation. And then I forget what the Georgia one is. Or no, this is New York. Okay, this is me. I'm sorry. It's literally impossible to keep track of all of it. Like, Donald Trump is actually such a master of staying in so much scandal all at once that it turns into a amorphous blob that you can't even talk about. Racketeering shit? Oh, yeah, I forgot, yeah. And for the record, by the way, these are not all being treated as separate charges. In a lot of these different indictments, they are considering his history and his character as evidence. The fact that he is being charged with some of these other things will hurt him in some other cases. All of these coming in on him at once will be considered in some of these charges, which is going to hurt him a lot. Regardless, we've all been watching and we've been laughing and we've been just, chuckling up a storm at Donald Trump's misfortune. It's really fun and it's awesome. But I've got even better news for you guys. It gets even better. Not only, of course, are we going to be getting a Donald Trump mugshot and very possibly a televised trial. But on top of that, already, nearly 2/3 of Americans say they wouldn't support Donald Trump in 2024, according to polling. Now, this is not surprising. I've been saying this for a while now. I think most lefty political figures in the sphere have been saying this for a while because it's quite obvious. Donald Trump barely won in 2016. He did not win the popular vote. Less Americans voted for Trump than Hillary in 2016. He only won by technicality through the Electoral College because proportionally, the way the Electoral College works is on each state's scale, however many people voted, like they do it by state, right? Each state has a certain amount of electoral votes, and if there are more votes for a certain candidate in that state, then all the electoral votes go to that candidate, right? And so, yeah, it usually results in there sometimes being cases like with Trump where someone gets less votes but still wins the election because they got more electoral votes, because that's how it's counted, the state's vote, not the people, right? That's also what they mean when they say states' rights, by the way. And then, of course, there's the fact that, like, in 2020, Donald Trump lost the popular vote and also the Electoral College vote, because per state he lost more states this more recent election. There is no reason to think that he will somehow experience a jump of popularity that could even get him back to the 2016 tiers where he barely won. That would be necessary. I don't think Donald Trump has a single chance of winning in 2024. I don't. Like, the amount of work he has to do just to get back to barely winning like he did in 2016 is colossal. Also, Donald Trump has reached market saturation. He was president. Every American knows who Donald Trump is. Like, he doesn't need to campaign to get his name out there. There's no worry about, like, Donald Trump getting too much press because he was the president. There's no worry about new people who might align with him discovering Donald Trump and voting for him, because everybody who would support Donald Trump either does support him or did support him. There's not really much of a growing support base for Trump. It's just shrinking. I kind of felt quite confident Donald Trump was going to lose in 2024 or 2020, just from the fact that from 2016 onward, you would see these accounts on social media. And I get this isn't the best measure, but I think it means something. You would see these accounts on social media centered around regretful Trump voters. Accounts that would just post dozens of posts a day from people that were very clearly real, like, ex-Trump supporters, talking about how they regretted voting for Trump. And they were not going to vote for him again in 2024. And that's his base shrinking. There are not new people joining it, though. And so with that said, it's like, it's a pattern that I think is something that should give us all a little bit of hope, you know? Also, these criminal charges are not going to make Trump look very good, you know? Like, obviously, we don't know how it's going to work if he's actually behind bars and he runs for president. That would be really wild. I am genuinely excited to see how that could go. We are entering some crazy times. I genuinely think that, you know, it's a good time to be a lefty content creator, you know, with the things that are about to happen in the political sphere if Donald Trump runs from prison. Yeah, there was this meme going around about a guy who lost his health insurance because Trump won. The libs were laughing, but honestly, it kind of just made me feel bad. That sucks. Oh, I'm so ready to see, I am so ready to see him get fucked up. Yeah, it's going to be hilarious to see Trump get fucked in court. It'll be really funny. I hope they televise it. Apparently we're getting his mugshot, right? Like, he is going to have a public mugshot. It is going to leak online. We are going to see it. Phenomenal. Trump's getting special treatment in his prosecution. The court system is already granting special privileges to the former president that no other defendant gets. The First Amendment doesn't have special caveats and carve-outs for the rich and famous or the putative presidential contenders. The same rules that govern those whose speech can be restrained or punished by the state apply whether you're a criminal defendant, the Republican nominee, neither or both. You can say what you want and need to say unless your speech falls into limited categories of exceptions. Fighting words, indictment, or incitement, it's not indictment, defamation, which are narrow and sometimes confounding in the age of social media. The age of Trump has ushered in new challenges around what kinds of threats and inducements will serve to rile up random malcontents in a country that has become fertile ground for stochastic terror and nothing to lose vigilante self-help. And while we all know that sticks and stones may break our bones, most of us know that a few well-chosen words can summon those with the sticks and the stones. It is the fear of chilling important political speech that causes us to forever slightly err on the side of letting dangerous speakers speak dangerously. As former Republican Representative Liz Cheney put it in her opening statement at the January 6th House Select Committee, it was clear that with his words, Donald Trump had summoned the mob, assembled the mob, and lit the flame of his attack. Trump was impeached by the House of Representatives for the incitement of a insurrection. So many words that rhyme and look the same to my dyslexic-ass eyes. And while the January 6th committee ultimately found there was sufficient evidence to charge the former president with assisting, aiding, or comforting the insurrection. In the end, neither special counsel Jack Smith nor Fulton County District Attorney Fancy Willis charged him with so doing. Too many charged First Amendment issues, too many nuances and complications. These charging decisions are understandable and also frustrating. The very power Trump has to stir up angry and violent reprisals is the power he seems continually granted to do so again in the future, forever citing the First Amendment and his enablers' own plausible deniability. Basically, what this article is saying is Donald Trump is still being allowed to speak when he is being charged with using his words to incite a violent riot to keep him in power. So basically what this article is arguing right now, it's a Slate article. I think it's an opinion piece, but I think it does a decent job. What it's arguing right now is that necessarily Donald Trump needs to be, like, gagged from any public speaking. If Donald Trump is allowed to rouse his supporter base into violence in response to his charges, then what is the point in charging him with rousing his supporter base into violence because he was upset about something? Like, yeah, you have to make it so he can't rally his supporter base into doing violence if you're going to try to, or hell, just trying to rally people to be able to, like, delay and stall and potentially even fuck over the ability for the trial to go about lawfully and by procedure. For example, as this should not surprise you at all, Trump supporters are sending death threats to the grand jury that is going to be overseeing Trump's trial, or one of Trump's charges. I don't remember which one, but it's become kind of a thing that there are Trump supporters sending death threats to everybody involved. To the prosecutors, they're getting death threats too. Oh my God. Yeah, the prosecutors, anybody involved, massive amounts of death threats from Trump supporters. Have you guys not... Hold on. Judges, jurors, prosecutors in Trump cases face death threats and doxing fears. A Texas woman was arrested and has been charged with threatening to kill the federal judge overseeing the criminal case against former President Donald Trump in Washington and a member of Congress. Abigail Jo Sear of Alvin, Texas, called the federal courthouse in Washington and left the threatening message using a racist term for the U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan on August 5th. Court records show. Investigators traced her phone number, and she later admitted to making the threatening call, according to a criminal complaint. In the call, Shri, I don't know how you pronounce that last name. It's like Shire. I don't know. Shri, I don't know. It's really weird. Told the judge, who is overseeing the election conspiracy case against Trump, "You are in our sights. We want to kill you," quote, the document said. Prosecutors allege Shri also said, "If Trump doesn't get elected in 2024, we are coming to kill you," quote, and she threatened to kill U.S. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, a Texas Democrat now running for mayor of Houston, according to court documents. Crazy, like, racist Trump supporters sending death threats. All bark, no bite. Well, God, my throat had, like, a bubble of spit in there that made me go, like, well, most of these will be hollow, empty threats just meant to incite fear. You have to understand that a lot of, to be a Trump supporter, you have to be mentally ill. And so because of that, some percentage of these death threats are getting sent by people who are actually mentally ill and absolutely willing to kill someone who dares to threaten their daddy Trump. Like, let's be real. A scary amount of them are not just talking hollow words. Pretty much all political terrorism that happens in America is caused by the right, okay? It's not all hollow words, guys. So yeah. Donald Trump, he's not in a good place right now. It really is fun to watch this all go down. Has his mugshot come out yet? Is that a thing yet? Please. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. This is great. Trump and 18 co-defendants to be booked in Georgia jail. There are 18 co-conspirators that have been named in these indictments. Donald Trump and the 18 co-defendants charged with racketeering and crimes for conspiring to subvert the 2020 presidential election in a criminal enterprise are set to be booked at a jail in Fulton County, Georgia, the local sheriff's office said on Tuesday. The grand jury has issued arrest warrants for all 19 defendants, including Trump, said Fani Willis, the district attorney, during a news conference after she delivered a sweeping 41-count indictment late Monday night. Defendants have until the 25th of August to surrender voluntarily, after which they can expect to be arrested. Trump and his co-defendants, including Rudy Giuliani, an attorney for ex-president and former New York City mayor, and Mark Meadows, the former White House chief of staff, can turn themselves in at any time, quote, since the jail is open 24/7, the sheriff's office said. God, this is so good. But the sheriff's office added that, due to the unprecedented nature of this case, some circumstances may change with little or no warning. In Georgia, the booking process, which typically includes fingerprinting, collecting personal information, and taking a booking photo, aka mugshot, is separate from the arraignment process. The presiding judge, Scott McAfee, I absolutely, had a brain flip when I read Scott McAfee. Very different McAfee came to mind. The McAfee antivirus guy came to mind, who, for those of you guys that don't know, was f***ing insane and is now dead. Who was appointed to the bench in February, can dictate whether defendants can appear virtually for their arraignments, where they can plead guilty or not guilty. Trump, who faces a total of 91 charges across all 4 indictments, has pleaded not guilty to every felony count and has repeatedly denied wrongdoing, calling the cases against him a witch hunt. The Georgia indictment is Trump's fourth in 5 months, and second related to his role in the January 6th Capitol attack. Trump has so far avoided taking a mugshot despite being arraigned 3 times, but that could soon change. Earlier this month, the Fulton County Sheriff Pat LaBatt, I'm just going to say LaBatt because it's funnier, indicated, dyslexia, dude, indicated that there could be a first-time Trump mugshot, which law enforcement officials elsewhere passed on. That's right, guys. Mugshot confirmed. Mugshot confirmed. What else could you possibly want, frankly? Oh, you better believe it's going to be on I'm going to get a shirt with Trump's mugshot on it. I am going to get a shirt with Trump's mugshot on it, and I'm going to wear it in public with the biggest, smuggest smile and a plate carrier underneath. God, this is great news. I could not be happier. I really, really couldn't be happier. I'm so excited to see how this all unfolds.